One hot June evening in 2017, a bombastic, blonde-haired, and blue-tied Julius Caesar walked on stage at the Delacorte Theater in Manhattan's Central Park. When Caesar's wife, a slender, elegant woman with an Eastern European accent, took to the stage, there was no mistaking the obvious. This production Caesar was clearly of the Trumpian variety. About 45 minutes into the play, the conspirators finally made good on their schemes. They pounced on Caesar, stabbing him 23 times. Caesar's friend and protege, Brutus, delivered the final blows. In the outdoor theater, some were silent. Others, however, cheered enthusiastically. They sided with the conspirators in saying, "Yes, the tyrant is destroyed. Peace is restored." Conservative media outlets, however, were furious at the violence depicted, the not too inconspicuous assassination of Trump. Eventually, some big-name sponsors, such as Delta Airlines and Bank of America, pulled their support for the production, saying, "The public theater chose to present Julius Caesar in a way that was intended to provoke and offend. Had this intention been made known to us, we would have decided not to sponsor it." Here's the thing though, almost everyone, from the cheering liberals to the outraged conservatives, completely missed the point. You see, the play Julius Caesar isn't actually about the man, Julius Caesar. For starters, the title character dies just less than an hour into a 2.5-hour play. The play Julius Caesar is much more about Brutus, his dilemma in betraying his friend, and the chaos that ensues after Caesar's assassination. Far from condoning the murder of Caesar, the play actually makes the completely opposite point. It shows how those who attempt to defend democracy through undemocratic means pay a terrible price. Ultimately, they destroy the very thing they are fighting to save. This is the situation we find ourselves in today. Just as the murder of Caesar was rehearsed multiple times before its debut performance, we are now rehearsing the murder of free speech. If we're not careful, it will soon be performed in public, on the stage of American politics. While some people on the left celebrate big tech's recent moves to censor individuals on the right, they are blind to the precedents established by such decisions. Every single day, more and more thinkers are demonetized and deplatformed on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. This is not a partisan issue. Sure, conservatives are perhaps more likely to be immediately censored for views that Twitter mobs deem politically incorrect. However, thought leaders on the left are increasingly coming under pressure too. People like Bret Weinstein, Jim Rutt, and Jordan Hall have all been at one point deplatformed, with no explanation given for their expulsion and no opportunity to appeal. These examples demonstrate why free speech isn't a partisan issue. They reveal the dark truth that once censorship is allowed, anybody or any idea that poses a threat to the ruling elite risks being censored. Of the several lessons that can be learned from the play Julius Caesar, the most important one is this. If we try to defend our nation by methods that undermine its foundational principles, we will tear our country apart. The ends can never justify the means. If we don't object to censorship today, even the censorship of those who we don't agree with, we guarantee we will be censored in the future. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but eventually there will be someone in a position of power who doesn't agree with our views. But by then, it'll be too late. We don't understand just how bad things can get, because most of us have never lived under real tyranny. However, the death of free speech is always the first step of a quicker than expected slide into oppression. If we break the rules so our team can win today, the other team will break the rules so they can win the next. We can't let free speech die just because we don't agree with the people who are being silenced. Lastly, if you're scared to speak out against the mob, the people in favor of censorship and cancel culture, you're not alone. The destroyers of freedom always intimidate because they know fear is their greatest ally. Their greatest enemy, however, is the assembly of those who don't succumb to fear. These are the courageous, ordinary men and women who take to heart the words of Shakespeare's Caesar, as he declares, "Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once." Be valiant, defend liberty, and don't murder Caesar. Don't let free speech die.